to order. Okay, good. Have you all had a chance to look at the minutes from the last meeting? Any additions or deletions or anything like that? Can I have a motion that we accept the minutes as approved?
So moved.
Second? Okay, thank you.
And then
Okay,
I'll
Pat.
abstain.
Okay,
Well, I could abstain. I wasn't there. Sorry.
that's all right. I guess I'll have to second it then. Where's Victoria when you need her? Pat, you want to do the update?
Sure. Just briefly, because I know you want to spend most of the time talking about ARPA. So as far as staffing update is concerned, we had a great candidate all set to come in, and she took another job for youth services. So we're out again. I've requested that they do a revolving process so that we can get someone as more soon. And they're doing that with more positions, including mine, because they weren't successful in the last recruitment. So I've asked them to leave it open until filled so we can interview people as the applicants come in. It's such a competitive market right now that waiting the length of time, we often lose people within that. So we have second interviews we have 3 really good candidates for the early childhood coordinator position. So I'm excited about that. And we did hire another driver for the senior center. We hired the person to cover the cafe, Sandra. The 2 recruitments that we now have outstanding, well, 3, my position, obviously, a social worker and a youth service social worker. And we still haven't been able to hire our nutrition coordinator, unfortunately, at the senior center, but they've been doing a good job covering for that. So that's kind of where that stands. As far as the program update is concerned, I want to tell you a couple of things. One, that we have started offering home cooked meals 2 days a week out of the cafe with Sandra starting, and our numbers have gone up dramatically. People really like the cafe program. They like having something homemade. So we're happy for that. And we're hoping we can expand the home cooked meals more when we hire our nutrition coordinator. And budget update, as you know, one of the reasons that I stayed on for these next 2 months, this month and next month, was to really help put budget together. So we are in the middle of budget process right now. I met with my supervisory and other administrative staff today to do the preliminary stuff. We are working in a new program, which called ClearGov. So, and I think that that's going to be hopefully as it moves along, will be better for both staff and the public. And I think we're going to be pretty happy with the project, and it probably is going to cut down on the staff time, particularly in the finance department, which we really need right now. So that's that. Yes.
Julia, go ahead.
Well, I was just wondering, Pat, so as you're working on the budget, this would be the first year under the new system where the budget you put together would include a request for the agency funding. Is that right?
Correct. So that would be something that I would be looking for from you, so a recommendation. And actually, probably the town council would be looking for you guys to put a recommendation forward, and the amount you feel would be good for them, so that you could offer those agency grants so that is something probably for you to discuss. And as they're moving toward that, my submission is due January 20th, and I'm not saying that you would need to hit that date, but probably at your next meeting, you might want to discuss how much is budgeted now and how much you'd like to see budgeted, because they will probably be looking at a recommendation from you for that.
You're talking about the regular agency grants.
The regular agency
Yeah, not the
grants,
ARPA
yes.
money. Okay.
No, so that would be something that you would want to look at.
Pat,
And but our budget, again, we've been so short-staffed all year. Unfortunately, we're in really good position because we unfortunately have not the biggest part of our budget, like most budgets, is staffing. And we've been down so many positions. And of course, that also impacts and affects how much program money we spend, because you can't really run programs if you don't have the staff to do it. Coupled with some, good grants that we've gotten, youth services, Katie could certainly talk about that, where we haven't had to access much, if any, town money for youth service programs, because we got more money than we were anticipating in that area. So that's it. Any other questions? And Katie's here too. She can certainly answer anything with you. Yes, Shamim?
Can you remind me how much that grant, how much was in the regular funding amount? What was
You're
budgeted?
gonna ask me. And I can look it up if you want to go on, and I'll
Yeah,
do that.
That'd be great.
Right here on my computer, I can look up and see how much the agency grants were last year. So why don't you guys go ahead, or if you have another question, hopefully I can do both things at the same time.
Pat, I got a question.
Yeah, go ahead, Bill.
The agency grants, is that individual or a lump sum?
Well, we would be asking for a lump sum, thinking
Okay.
about how much we would like to issue out or put out through our RFP process. So let me look in my budget file, and I can tell you exactly how much we did this past year. Let's see.
Katie, while
Oh.
Pat's looking at that, you want to fill us in with what's happening?
Sure, I can give a youth services update. So I know it's been a while since I've been here with you all at the Human Services Advisory Committee. So I don't know how up to date you are with who we are now, because it's changed an awful lot since the last time I was here. We have in December had Robin Kramer join our team. She is an LCSW who comes to us from the Coventry High School system. And she's been a wonderful addition. She got to start with us and see COPE and Big Friends in action for our last session of the semester. So she knows what she's walking into, which is great, because it's a really hard set of things to describe if you've never kind of see how it rocks and rolls. So she's been a wonderful addition to the team. We had anticipated having the expanded position of the additional youth services social worker filled. We had someone accept the position who was supposed to start this week, but ended up accepting a different position elsewhere. So that position is going to be reposted. Last we heard from HR, they were in agreement with Pat's recommendation to post it as a until filled, so that it can be a rolling set of interviews rather than kind of the process of paneling interviews, where it's been hard to kind of ask the panel to keep coming back, but also just trying to be as flexible as we can to find the right fit for that position. We are getting ready to tomorrow have our second round of interviews for the early childhood services coordinator position. So we're looking forward to that and getting that position hopefully filled pretty quickly. Sarah Dufresne's been amazing in making sure that those core duties of the school readiness grant have been covered while she's been serving as the adult services caseworker in her transition in September. But we do know that the grant season is coming up pretty hot into February. And so having a full-time person in this position is going to be really essential to make sure that that school readiness grant happens in a timely manner. And we are lucky that Sarah is still in-house, so she can do a lot of that cross-training around the responsibilities of school readiness liaison, MAC extraordinaire, and all things early childhood in the town of Mansfield. So we are at a point of staffing where we have some breathing room, because it's not just Kelly and I, but we are definitely not at full capacity yet, and not able to really do much expansion until we get that new position filled that the Youth Service Advisory Board had put in for in this past budget cycle. We have been receiving diversion referrals ongoing, and all of our circles have ended up being booked. We've had a mix of all the different towns, all the different referral types. So we're definitely seeing that diversion program being really well utilized, which is great. One of the things that we are preparing for now that it is January, there's a change at the state level of how they are processing referrals to the juvenile justice system, where there's an high likelihood that we're going to actually see an increase in the number of referrals. The state judiciary, JJPOC committee, in working with the juvenile court system and probation, are implementing what's called a risk-based handling of cases. So if there is a referral that does go to court rather than a diversion program, they have a new risk assessment program that they are going to be implementing. They've already piloted it in a few districts and had some success, which is good to hear. But what they'll be doing is kind of assessing the nature of the offense, as well as other risk factors and resilience factors that the youth comes in with. And the lowest level of offenses are going to be, deferred back to diversion in the community. And we might see an increase in the number of referrals that we get in that diversion rather than having them go through court. So we're kind of waiting to see what it will look like. We have had a couple of cases that have come to us via probation already. So they're already kind of had already been doing some informal screening out of, what really does need to rise to the level to be seen in court versus what can be better supported in the community and well resourced to kind of keep those kids from having that contact with the court system. So that is new as of like January 2nd. Actually, I guess January 3rd was the first day because the second was the holiday observed. So we will be curious to see what that does to our diversion numbers and to see if there's any additional resourcing that we kind of really need to dedicate to that. But it's been a resource that's been really well utilized, and we've been kind of figuring out how to cover and shift and change to have lost our ongoing circle coordinator of Sarah, but the case managers for each town have been doing a nice job of covering those circles. And so far it seems like it's been working. So that's where we're kind of at with that. And we'll see once we are kind of at our full staffing capacity, how that'll look. We are also now that the announcement has come out from Superintendent Dart's office on what the school transition plan is going to be for the Mansfield Elementary School, able to kind of nail down our spring dates for our mentoring programs. We had a great turnout for COPE this past year. In the fall semester, we had, I want to say 70 to 80 kids across the two elementary school sites enrolled with us in COPE. And so what we'll be doing moving forward, the first half of the year, we had kind of the first graders able to get kind of this full dose of COPE with lunch and recess together, since they were the only grade able to be served at the Vinton campus. And then for the Goodwin campus, the past semester, we were able to work with both the third and the second and third grade. And this semester we will work with the second, third, and fourth grade, and we'll be able to kind of look at some additional programming to support our fourth graders as they transition to the middle school capacity. So we have one kind of semester, I would call it, of like survival mode and staying afloat and being super down staff and making it work, and appreciating the flexibility that we've had with our youth and families and with the schools for sure. And, in a better place this semester, but not at full swing just yet. We are well granted this year. The youth service enhancement grant through the Connecticut Youth Services Association did give each YSB an additional lump sum for this year to use for direct service programming. So we have a pretty robust budget, but as Pat kind of already mentioned, it's hard to use a robust budget when you don't have bodies to run programs with. So we are looking at how we will be kind of making sure we utilize those funds in a really meaningful way for our programs in our community. And I think those are all of the updates that I can think of right now.
Okay, well, thank you. Thank you very much. Anybody have any questions of Katie? If not, I notice we have a guest. Could you identify yourself, please? Amin?
Hi, how are you?
Good, and you?
Thank you, thank you. Actually, I signed up for some emails at the community center Mansfield. So I just wanted to, join this meeting because the thing is, I came from Turkey.
Mhm.
So I'm Turkish, and my son, he goes to E.O. Smith High School. And my husband, he works at UConn, and I have a PhD in immunology, but right now I'm looking for a job. So, I have so much time at home. So I just want, I wanted to be familiar with my surroundings. And when I saw something about like human, so I just wanted to be part of it. Thank you so much. If you don't want me to join, I can leave.
No, no, no.
No,
you-
no,
that's
no.
fine. You can stay and listen. That's fine.
Yeah, I'm just listening and trying to learn, what's going on outside home.
Right, and there's
Good,
actually a
good.
section in the
Welcome.
meeting for
Yeah.
public comment at the end. So if you have anything that you'd like to comment to the Human Service Advisory Council, feel free to do it. We just wanted to make sure that you realized we knew you were here.
Oh, thank you so much.
All
So
right.
I'm going to be quiet and just listen. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. Okay, why don't we go move on to the old business, which is the opera grants. So has the town council come back with what they want?
So, I mean, they have, and the grants are actually out. It's posted on our website with a return date. That's a week away. If you know anything about grants, people usually wait till the very last minute to get the grants submitted. So we haven't got any back yet, but that is not a surprise. That's usually the way that works. One of our agreements is that we can go back, and once the first series is through, if there's funds left over, we can actually open the grants. Or if we feel that we don't get enough, we have to look at the grants that come in, kind of that were, in fairness to them, in that time frame. But we can open it back up and take more applications. And that's what the council is expecting, because they really want to spend the funds. So anyway, but at this point, the letters went out to all the agencies we have worked with in the past who've requested applications. A press release went out. It's been advertised on our Facebook pages, and it is listed on the town website. So that's already out there. That's been out. So since before the holidays. Pardon?
When is the due date?
The due date is, I believe, next week, the end of next week.
So that would be
It's the 18th.
18th. Oh, okay, thank you.
So, and again, most people do not send these applications in early. So they usually wait until the day they're due. Just saying. So, and again, there's no reason why we couldn't either extend the date or do another full thing. And that's the expectation, because not that they want to get it out when and as they can, but realistically speaking, I believe we have until, I think it's 2025 to spend it. So
will you send us copies of the grants as you get them?
yes, absolutely. Kathy will, scan them in and send them to you electronically. If you need them in another faction, I know Will likes his in paper and sometimes has a problem getting stuff scanned in electronic, correct, Will? We could make it available as at least the application part available, paper copies. So, or someone could come into the office and look at them if they prefer that. So, but she will be scanning them and, and getting them out electronically as they come in.
Now, what if a grant comes in a couple days after the due date?
I think we have to hold it to, in honoring the people who got it in on time. We'd have to, and my guess is we probably won't spend all 300, the amount that's allocated in that first phase. So we would just let them know that we would put it into the next phase. We wouldn't, make them resubmit, because it's the same thing if someone gets in a partial grant and not the full, what we needed. We can go back and ask for more, information. But the way you usually screen them is the ones that are completed and turned in on time are the ones that you review first. When you say that's correct, Julie, Julia, isn't that the way pretty much they do it? Yeah, I mean, that's anywhere I've been. that's the way they do it. But we want to encourage people to put the applications in because the town really wants to get the money out there. So,
jumping ahead, when we get the grants, are we going to use that scoring system we talked about?
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
So-
you can either do it by individually scoring it, or you can get together and score it by consensus.
okay,
You know, it doesn't have to be everybody fills out a score sheet. It could be you get together, you talk about it and you decide on a number. And then you say this was derived at by consensus by the committee. Or you can do an average and let people score it. Either way works. I just like the consensus a little bit better, but
So the next meeting that's scheduled that I see is January 25th.
mhm.
Is that, should we push that just to have more applications? And then, you
Yeah.
know,
I had this.
So what you can do, because that's the regular meeting, so what you can do is cancel that one and set up a special meeting if you feel that you need more time to review. I wouldn't cancel it yet, because if you don't get applications in, you know, you may want to at that point, you know, have a regular meeting and then decide at that meeting that you're going to open it back up, or, you know. So,
Okay.
but yes, you can absolutely, you can't move that meeting because it's a regular meeting, but you can cancel that meeting and then schedule a special meeting if you want in February, let's say. You could do that.
okay.
My assumption was that we would all come to that meeting having read all of the applications.
Mhm.
And then whatever we agree to, the process, that the purpose of that meeting would be to make decisions.
Mhm.
So I was a little bit concerned that if the deadline was January 18th, that didn't give your office much time to turn it around to us and then for all of us to read everything. I mean, unless there's only
Right.
like 2 applications.
Right.
So if we get enough applications, we canceled the 25th. Do you want to do it the following week, or do you want more time so that when we cancel and reschedule, we have enough time? Or should we wait?
Right. And you don't have to reschedule it. You could just decide to set a special meeting for February sometime, if you whatever date you decide, and then say, cancel and then wait to cancel that one in January until you figure it out. I mean, they're two completely different things, because one's a special meeting and one's the one you already have scheduled.
Okay. How's that sound to everybody else?
Right. You might want to, while you have people here, decide on a backup date now, for that special meeting right now.
Yep.
Right.
Since you got everybody.
Okay,
I mean, do we want to just do the following? How long, Pat, would it take your office to turn those around to us?
Kathy, you're on. Can you make a comment on that? Because that's you and Leslie.
I don't think it'll take us too long. As if they come in electronically, we can just forward them. And if not, then we would just scan them and send them over. And I do have Leslie to help me. So I wouldn't think you have to wait, like weeks or anything like that. If you wanted to do it the following week, that would be okay. If you want it done by the 25th, we'll make it work.
okay, why don't we figure on the, do you want to do it on Wednesday? Do you want to do it on the 31st, which is a Tuesday? Or do you want to do it on the 1st, which is a Wednesday?
Yeah, I cannot do the 31st.
Okay, so you want to do it on the 1st then? How about you, Shani? Yeah, I can do it on the 1st. How about you, Julia? Okay, why don't we figure?
I will not be available on the 1st, but Pat, if you're here, then that covers us, right?
Yep.
Okay. All right.
Well,
so-
they're really doing the work. I'm just here to consult, offer my consultation.
Okay, why don't we figure the 1st and at the same time at 3:30?
Okay.
Okay,
is this in person or virtual?
let's do it. Probably virtual at this point. What do you all think? We could do it in person, I suppose.
I will tell you, that's my virtual day. You know, I'm only working 3 days a week and Wednesdays is my virtual day. But I can change that around. I could do that day in person and then another day virtually that week.
Well, the purpose of that meeting would be ideally to look at applications and have conversations.
Correct.
I feel like that works better in person.
I agree.
Okay. All right. Do you want to, I mean, it's easier for me to get space here, obviously, at the senior center. Does that work for you?
Sure. We could do it in person if that's okay with everybody else.
Mhm.
On Wednesday, the 1st?
Yeah.
Okay, so
I mean-
it'll be a special meeting and the special meeting will be all about
The money.
just ARPA. That's the only, you know, ARPA's the only thing on that's scheduled that day, the ARPA grants,
Okay.
correct?
Yep.
Mhm.
So we'll get that agenda over to Ethel so we can get that out as
Do you
quickly
think
as
that-
possible.
Do you
And do
think,
you want us to cancel the one at the end of the month in January then?
Yeah, why don't we do that? You know, that way it'll be done.
Okay.
Not to worry
All
about it.
right.
And
I will
reschedule.
tell you that one of the things that you're going to have to do today, because we didn't meet last month, we didn't set the meeting dates, the dates for our meetings this next year. So if you want them to stay the same as they were in the way past, we did some changing around COVID. They would be you know, the 125, which we already set, March 29th, May 24th, September 27th, December 16th, and then it would also be the last Wednesday in 2004 in January.
Right.
So we usually set that in case there's weather or whatever, kind of like this, where we don't have a meeting, so we can't set those dates. So that you guys would have to vote on today.
Okay,
You know, that doesn't mean you can't cancel and do special meetings like you've been doing this whole year because of the way things have worked out. But you need to, because we have to submit them to the town clerk.
okay. Does anyone want to make a motion to accept those dates as their schedule? Okay, can I have a second?
Second,
Okay,
And they'll be included in the minutes as well.
right. Any discussions? If not, all those.
I'm just checking my calendar real quick.
Okay, well, we
Yeah.
can push things around, Julia, you know.
Right, right. Like I said, the difference between this and a special meeting is a special meeting, you can only talk about what's on your agenda.
Okay,
Pat, can I just clarify? I had written down December 16th, but I must have written that down wrong because that's a Saturday. So what did you say for?
No, it's December 6th. I'm sorry.
Okay,
It's the first Wednesday in December, and we do it that day because of holiday programs and
Yep.
holiday celebrations and travel. We've
Okay.
always done it instead of the end of November, we've always done it the first week of December.
okay.
Can you just read those dates one more time so I can get them scribbled down?
Yes.
I'm you for a
So
while.
it's March 29th, May 24th, September 27th, December 6th. And then let me find out what the first, let me find out what let me go into 2004 and I can.
it's
get
the
you that.
31st. It's the 31st.
Okay, so it would be January 31st, yes.
Okay, good.
Which is that a day? Yeah, that'd be fine.
Yeah,
Can Kathy send a calendar invite for all of these dates?
yes, I can,
Kathy?
yeah, I can do that. Yeah.
Okay, great.
Thank you. Okay, is there anything else we need to discuss now?
Ethel,
Yeah.
I just, in preparing for our meeting to discuss the applications, I just wanted to make sure we were all on the same page about what our task was, as we reviewed them. I mean, what has worked best for me in the past when reviewing these kinds of applications or even scholarship applications is for the individual members to actually score things, but then have a conversation and make
Mhm.
decisions by consensus about which ones we want to put forward. But if everybody comes having scored, I think it facilitates a quicker conversation, but I don't know how the rest of you feel about that.
So,
Right.
yeah, I don't have any problem with scoring them before the meeting and
Right, and I'll be honest with you, I would use the score sheet, score in pencil. So because because what I would do is keep the consensus one that you guys would sign.
right.
So just so you know, even your notes and stuff, I would just do them in pencil. Just,
And you will
You
send us all the scoring sheets right beforehand.
yes, actually, if you'd like, I can even put, yeah, I'll send you you can print them out, or we could print them out for you if that works. I mean, again, whatever makes it easiest for you. Some people have computer access, but they don't have a printer, or they don't have a good printer, and they'd rather have,
Why don't
a stack of them.
Yeah, why don't you print them out and just mail them to us with US mail?
Okay, got
And
that,
we'll have
Kathy?
Yes,
Yeah, she has
no problem. Yep. Can I ask a quick question?
Sure.
So do you think that 3:30 on that day is going to give you enough time to do what you guys want to do?
On the 25th?
No, on the first.
On the first?
It depends on how many grants we get. If we
And
only get
again,
12
I
grants,
mean,
yeah,
the issue, I think what you're kind of thinking is the issue is staffing, right? Because it won't be virtual, so I'll be here. So
No, well,
that's
it's gonna be
no
in
problem.
person, right?
Right.
It's gonna be.
Yeah, it'll be in person.
Yeah.
So Kathy, what I would say is, I mean, again, if you want to meet earlier, that's fine. I know for a lot of people, work can be an issue, getting there before then. So,
I think we should leave it at 3:30. Because that will give Julia enough time to get up here and Shameen to come over for the meeting. And hopefully Victoria and Will and I.
mhm.
Is that okay with everybody?
Hopefully at least people would, I mean, you have to have the quorum, obviously.
Right.
And even if Victoria can't, or someone can't make it, if they can get their notes in, it would be really good.
And the scoring sheet. Okay. Is that okay with everybody? And so we'll meet at the senior center, and you can make it, Shameen,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good.
So we'll meet on the senior center side. I'll try to get the memorial room, which is the front of the building.
Right.
Oh, one of the things I forgot to tell you is that someone ran, we had an accident in the front, and someone kind of got hung up on that, like ran into the bars and got hung up on. We had a senior that drove into, good thing we had the post, because they took the post out, those cement posts, and got hung up on the railing that we have. So
They get
otherwise
hurt?
they would have been in the senior center in the memorial room if that didn't happen. So we still have, I just wanted to tell you, because when you come over here, I'm not sure how soon they're going to get some of that repaired. But they actually had to pry her out, because the bar, she was fine, but the
Good.
bar kept her in the car. They couldn't get her out of the car. So
She was lucky.
yeah, she was lucky, and we're lucky that they put those in, because remember, Will, they didn't have those when I first got here.
Yeah.
So that car would have been in the memorial room.
Yeah, but at least you could have gotten some capital work done on the building.
Not the way, though. I mean, we couldn't that day, you couldn't access the human service side unless you walked all the way through the building, because it was, that's where it was hung up. We felt bad for her. I mean, that was too bad, but so they'll have to come in and redo a bunch of stuff here in the front of our building. But luckily she was fine, and between the I didn't even think that you could take one of those cement things down that are, you know, but she, you know, between the cement thing and then the railing that we had installed, it stopped her from going in the building. So
Well, good. I'm glad.
I'm
she's
sure it was
okay.
one of those situations when someone went to put on the brake and panicked and, you know what I mean? Put on the gas. That's what it looks like. But man, she had to be going pretty fast to do what she did. So.
Well, as long as she's okay,
Mhm.
because you can fix everything else, you know.
Absolutely. As long as nobody got hurt. She's pretty shook up, but nobody got hurt. So,
Okay, so we're all set for the first at 3:30. We'll come with our sheets all filled out and so we discuss them and
yeah,
maybe.
and we'll make sure we can get a room over on the senior center side that we
Great,
can meet
thank
in.
you. Okay, moving on, is there any new business? If there's no new business, Amin, do you have anything you want to say? Anything further?
Oh, hi. Actually, I'm glad. How can I say? I'm so happy I joined this meeting, and I learned a lot. How things are kind of how you organize all the things, and you take it seriously. You go through details, and I can feel the harmony within the group. So if you need any help from a public, so it's me. I can always help as a volunteer. And yeah, thank you so much. Thank you.
Feel free to join us on the next time too.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Hey, Amin, send us your contact information so we'll have it, okay?
Sure. I will write it into the chat. Is it okay?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.
So since we're not going to be meeting on the 24th, Pat, do you need an answer from us about our recommendation for funding amount?
Oh, yeah, the funding.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and not before then, because I'll be honest with you, that is usually something that gets put in later on. But I think you need to talk about that. So that needs to be on the agenda for that special meeting.
Okay. How
That,
much-
I would put on, unfortunately, I cannot access it because Munis is down right now.
Oh, okay.
So, sorry, that's where I went to go in and, which would be the budget pages, but right now Munis is down. So I cannot go in there to get it. But I think, it was somewhere around $50,000, if I remember right.
Just send us an email.
50 or 60,000, something like that was what was granted last year. So you think about the agencies and what you're thinking, is needed out there. And you can give in a recommendation and ultimately it'll be and say, justify this is how much we gave last year. Expenses have gone up. We all know that. I mean, I was just looking, we were talking about budgeting, the difference in the cost of a case of paper. Went from 20 something to 40 something dollars. So in a year, so everything's gone up. So if you're thinking that it's a good idea to help more than just, you can take, I think we did around 60,000 last year. That's what I remember.
Yeah, well,
So
if you could check it, just drop us an email.
I will. I'll send that out once we know. And Kathy might even have that information because she's the one who's been, but again, I just was looking to go. I would have normally just gone in Munis and seen the amount.
So
But
we'll
don't have
discuss,
access to that.
yeah, we'll discuss that and the opera money, opera grant. So that should keep us busy.
Okay, so both of those need to be on, the agenda. Okay, great. Thanks.
Does anybody have anything else? Well, you all set? Well, thank you, everybody, and I'll entertain a motion for adjournment, and we'll see you all on the 1st at the senior center. Okay? Can I have a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
A second?
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Okay, we're adjourned.
Stay warm, everybody.
Okay.
Thank you. Bye-bye.